Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this from all BBC era. Oh, sorry, BBC. Sometimes I get confused because, quite frankly, BBC in the UK has been kind of a mouthpiece for the Islamic government, making excuses and, just hiding the atrocities that the Islamic countries do. But anyway, here we have something from CBBC, which is for children. I think maybe C stands for Children, British Broadcast Company. I don't know. Either way, here is something from 2021. Yes, it's 2023. It's current year, but only today I became aware that something this atrociously stupid came on TV. At the same time, I'm not surprised it's from BBC. Thank God they are defunding this. They're cutting the funds of BBC, and hopefully they go private company, and they need to actually start earning money to stay afloat, because this is just bad historical revisionism. Here we have a black guy dressed in a Roman uniform, claiming that Sub-Saharan Africans were in Britain in the Hadrian Wall, which they allude over here, protecting Britain from the undesirable Scots from the north. If you have been watching TV, they've made a few things related to that, like Game of Thrones and the Song of Ice and Fire, etc. Anyway, and as you can see, it's retarded. They weren't in Europe. They were not present in that region. It's really that very simple. They were not part of British royalty. They were not any of those things. And they are claiming that the Cheddar Man, which they try to make it darker here, was an Sub-Saharan African. No, he was not. He was just a Neanderthal-looking dude. That's about it. And they actually claim Septimus Severus here was actually black. No, he was not. He just was a guy who spent a lot of time under the sun. Here is one interesting thing in the Roman culture back then. Men were usually darker in color and women were much lighter. Why? Very simple, because a man would spend most of their time working under the sun, and the Italian sun, and by that account, also the Mediterranean sun, it's a bit forgiving. And one tends to tan quite a bit. That is why the Italians are very tannable. Let's take a look at the Italians from Sicily and all of that regions and Malta region. It's what it is. It was in their culture because they would spend time building, they would spend their time farming. And women would generally stay inside, indoors, so they wouldn't be exposed by the extreme sun. And this is a guy who would spend a lot of time under the sun. So they make some retarded ideas into it. And this is another retarded idea. I don't know why you are trying to claim it's Moors or something. Even the Moors itself, which is some of the things that the historical revisionists like to claim to be African or black, that's actually kind of false. Because during the wartime, the world was still not fucking aware of Sub-Saharan Africa. As you can see here, I mentioned this a couple of videos ago. You can see there is a big fat fucking desert right... Wait, there you go. You can see a big fucking fat desert right here. In the goddamn fucking Africa. It's a big Sahara desert. It's, well, let's just say it's a bit difficult to cross it. Yeah, it's not a kitty litter, as some of the leftists likes you to think. You cannot take an airplane back in those days and cross it willy-nilly. And taking a ship that thing was a perilous journey, a very perilous journey. And you would be lucky to survive it. So nobody dared to venture souther than this. And you can see this map here, it spans around almost 1,000 years, give or take, or a little bit more, because it mentions Ptolemaic Egypt and the Umayyad Caliphate, so probably a bit more, give or take. But you can see here, this is Sub-Saharan Africa. And they were not in contact with the North. Neither side was aware of one or the other. And here we can see the Egyptians, their ancestry. None of it was from Sub-Saharan Africa. So you can clearly see that it was an impossibility for Africans to be, Sub-Saharan Africans to be in England or anywhere in Europe. I knew. You're gonna claim, but that's racist. No, it's not. It's history. Unless you fucking moron has a way of creating a time machine and going back in time and change time for some reason, it's just a fact. It will not change, no matter how much you try to, I don't know, to rewrite history. It will not change. Here is a map from Eratosthenes, which is around more or less during the time period of Rome. Well, pretty much at the beginning of Rome itself, during the Greek hegemony and all of that stuff. As you can see, people were... Sub-Saharan Africa was not in the map. They just were not aware of it. Neither side, neither the Sub-Saharan Africans, neither the Europeans were aware of it. I mean, you can place a black guy in front of the Hadrian Wall, dressed as a Roman soldier as much as you goddamn fucking want, but it will not change that historical fact. You can try to peddle this goddamn fucking propaganda as much as you goddamn fucking want, but it will not work. Neither Sub-Saharan African were there during the Ice Age. Neither were the goddamn fucking Sub-Saharan Africans royalty or someone who was at a high level in England. You can cry, you can throw a temper tantrum. It will not change. It will not do anything. You can throw a temper tantrum. And they were in World War I? Yeah, probably. They were in World War I. But their numbers would be possibly dozens in the middle of thousands. Because even then, it was still a bit difficult. And they would mostly stay in their countries. They weren't that common for them to cross it. You can throw a temper tantrum, you can cry. Look at this, it's one example out of many. You can throw a temper tantrum, dude. It's not going to work. But before I continue, here is a trailer. Hi, hello, I'm back! I'm back, baby! Well, let's go back to ranting and this goddamn fucking nonsense. Look, here is a multiple pictures with him showing some references to various time periods. Look, you could potentially claim that they were present in the 19th, 20th century. Yes, they were, but in very, very, very few numbers. And mostly through immigration. They weren't natural citizens of the location. They were not locals, as you try to claim. Well, I think I'm starting to think the far leftists and historical revisionists, black Israelites, and other retarded ideologies out there are probably starting to claim that black people are actually native of Europe and white people should get the fuck out of it. I'm starting to think that this is going to come, and for something that I thought it was more of a parody or a satire, I'm starting to think it may become real. Especially because we know how this what was it? I forgot the name of the thing. It's I forgot. They actually believe that black people was ultra civilized, and then one guy decided to engineer white people who were slaves, and then they revolted and stole everything from the blacks. I forgot the name of the religion. It's absolutely retarded and is only commonly found in America as some sort of cope. I am sorry, but this is not historical fact. You can cry as much as you goddamn fucking want, but it will not change it. It will not work. Where in the fuck do you think somebody in the Middle Ages, when people were still stuck in Mediterranean Europe and they could barely think beyond that region of Europe, think that there is a black guy farming somewhere in the middle of England next to the goddamn fucking Vikings? That's just retarded. Let's face it. DVC, you should be ashamed. Very ashamed of what you're doing. But I think you're not. In fact, you think this is virtue. You think you're virtue signaling. No, you're not. You're just showing that you're utterly retarded. And that people that says that you should be defunded is right. I think you should be defunded. You should go private. You need to work your ass off to pay for this retarded nonsense that nobody should be watching, or having their own public money be paying this goddamn retarded nonsense. Well, on that goddamn fucking hell, have a great fucking night, and fuck you, YouTube. Really, fuck you, YouTube.